Well, hello everyone. this is this is slowly becoming the norm here. Uh, as you can see here on the Nillabean show, we're joining you approximately what is it? About 5 hours. About 5 hours later than I would have liked to have been here. It seems I'm essentially incapable of making plans and then having them work out. So I have it's kind of the usual situation. Man, I can't see without my glasses. It's about quarter after 3. I have till about 4 o'clock till I have to go pick up my daughter and stuff. So we're not going to get to do what I had planned on doing. I wanted to kind of work on modifying the firmware to fix the knob issue, which is like a thing that's we've been trying to do for like I don't even know how long now. It's been a while. Hey, what's up on a day? Hey, what's up guys in chat? Like I was just saying, today is not going to be what I had hoped it was going to be. But I figured I'd jump on here for a little bit. I do have, like I said, about 45 minutes or so. And I did get stuff done, some things finished last night, or tended to last night. And I got some cool prints I wanted to share with you guys. Cool little project. These are going to be a gift for a friend. Oh, it's not even just the table. It's like this whole... I know you can't see all of it, but oh my god, there's stuff everywhere. I got bins of miniatures and stuff sitting all over the place. Like, I feel like I can't move without knocking something over. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. There's stuff everywhere. There's stuff you guys can't really see. But, yeah, it's ridiculous. Like, this stuff was all... I wanted to have this all cleaned up. There's just a bunch of old minis and stuff here I was trying to sort through. Get glued together. All this stuff actually isn't 3D printed. This stuff's all made out of plaster. I had showed you guys the molds before. This is all like terrain that's cast in plaster. Stuff I used to mess with before I got into 3D printing. And this was actually, I have like mountains of dice here too. I was actually doing some play testing for the Elder Scrolls RPG kind of system that I've been working on for the last few weeks. Got bags of bits everywhere. Need to list on eBay. But this stuff is cool. I never really showed you a whole bunch of this, like big old casks. These I want to do a video on these soon. Not really 3D printing, but these are like the bottles are made out of beads. Easiest thing in the world to do. If you ever need little terrain like this, there's all kinds of cool crap you can do. Again, this is all cast out of plaster, needs painted. GW minis. And then these are the floor tiles I showed you before. These are plaster also, which these actually look nice. Glue them on cork, paint them up, cool stuff. But this all needs to go. I actually have quite a bit of these. You can see I spent a lot of time making this stuff years ago. But the 3D printed stuff, this is the little like I'm going to be going to my gaming shop later. This is the little playtesting platform I've been using, like a little tile board. This is the what do you want to call it? The modular dungeon tiles. I do like this stuff better because like I used to travel with that, and I dropped that box one time. It's catastrophic if you drop the plaster stuff, but this stuff, these things are tough. You know, I could throw these across the room like a frisbee, and I would imagine if it broke anything, it would probably end up breaking the little clips between pieces and not the pieces themselves. So, there's definitely advantages to both. I think the overall appearance of the other stuff is just a little bit better because you get such a fantastic surface on the plaster because it's in like a smooth mold. But the 3D printed stuff still looks really good. And then the durability is like incomparable. Absolute, like, completely different level of durability here. I never get to show minis off. These are, like, I used to do a lot of role playing These are some of the characters I used to play. Like this guy, there are some bits in there that are injection molded from other games, but I would say 55 to 60% of this little dwarf guy I sculpted. He's got javelins. He's got great swords and 2 javelin. A great sword and 2 javelins. Cool little guy. But anyway, did I bring those down? I think I brought them down. Yeah, I did. I did some experimenting with the. If you saw the video we did, what was that, Tuesday? I did do some experiments with different techniques to rust that filament, but I only really found one that I think is really worth messing with. And you can see that's a good sign. There's rusty looking paper towels here. And we're going to set these to the side and let them dry. And then I'll show you what they look like after they dry off a little bit. And it's kind of funny with all the mixing. See, they do rust nice. The paper towel's all kind of schmutzy looking. But it's funny with all of the different mixtures and stuff that I've seen people try to use. And it seems like the technique that works best is just salt water. I took like a plastic cup, filled it full of like warm water, and then just poured a ton of salt in it. And you like basically saturate that water with salt until it won't absorb any more salt. Dip the paper towels in it, wring them out. You could see I had them flattened out between 2 layers. Had a paper towel on the bottom, laid my pieces on it, laid another piece of paper towel over it, and then stuck it in a bag and let it sit overnight. And I did that yesterday, and they looked pretty good, and I was like, well, hell, I'll just do the same thing again. So I got new paper towels. Another big part of that process that made it really rust up was I got a set of these brushes from Walmart, and you see there's like a brass one, a stainless one, and a nylon one, which I don't need that for anything. But what I did was roll them across the table. Was take these and between like sessions in the salt water, just kind of vigorously rub the whole surface. And doing that multiple times really made these look nice. It kind of like spreads out that rusty patina and gets in like those little curves and stuff that you can't really get in with sandpaper like we were trying before. So yeah, I think these were like $3, $3 or $4. And they were really kind of like, I don't know, the silver bullet to really rust that stuff up. I had went to Walmart and there's like some big, more aggressive wire brushes that you can get. And they're really cheap, but they're a little too stiff. And these are great. I don't know what they're really for. They were in like the paint scraper and sandpaper aisle in Walmart, but these work great if you're trying to rust this filament. And I'll probably do a video on that, just a little like quick minute or 2 long how-to video. But these things look really cool now. I'm actually going to be using these tonight. Thursday night's War Machine night, so I'll finally get to use my tokens. And people, like, if you would show people these, and, like, when they inevitably ask, like, what they are, and how they made them, if you would tell them that these were, like, stamped out of, like, an iron composite or something, if they weren't aware of this filament, they would totally believe you. You can see I made a bigger one with just a kind of a strange, I don't know, it's supposed to look like a robotic symbol or something. I was trying to do circuitry, but being that you can only print with the 0.4 millimeter nozzle on these, I couldn't really get the design as intricate as I wanted. I printed out some other ones, but I ran into the same problems I ran into before. I don't know if this will focus, but this one's a good example of it. This is what actually led me to getting the finer nozzles in the first place. Is I tried to print this smaller one. Yeah, you can't really see it. Let me adjust this camera. I tried to print these tokens before, if you remember me trying to... make those War Machine tokens a few weeks ago. And I'll try to focus this. Get a little closer. You can see the problem you run into is that there ends up being gaps in the top layer. And it's not really something that more top layers is going to fix. Like one of the biggest problem areas is right in here, where you have like your perimeters around these bumps, and then your perimeter around this kind of indented ring. There's a gap there, and it has to do with the extrusion width, and it's something that I really don't know how to fix. You can up the extrusion multiplier a bunch, but it ends up like making the edges of your print kind of crappy. And the only thing that I've really found that allowed you to fix this is to have a thinner or a smaller diameter nozzle. And what it actually does is, because you can even see this in the slicer, you'll see your like perimeter lines, and then there will be a little bit of a gap there where it's the extrusion width just doesn't allow you to fill it, because it comes in here to create this line where it needs to be, and then you have your perimeters, and then there's a tiny little air gap between the two, and the machine doesn't really have a way of filling it because the nozzle's too wide, yet it's not wide enough that they actually have the lines touch. So yeah, it ends up looking, they look kind of terrible, honestly. You can see there, because this is actually the same design. And you can see there's actually there's still some of that kind of effect on here, but it's not quite as bad. Especially once you get this all rusted up, it's not quite as bad. But I also did some experimentation because I printed these out all blank. And you can see I tried to do, one is like a relief, and then the other one is kind of the opposite. And it's the same deal. Like you can see in this vertical piece, you run into the same problem where, let me see if you can show that. See how there's like a line down the middle of this vertical piece? That's kind of the same deal, where it wants to do the perimeters, and then that space in the middle is too thin, so it doesn't really fill it in, and not a whole lot you can do about it. But all these initial ones, you can see they're blank on both sides. They're just smooth, because it makes it really easy to print them. They come out without any like gaps in the surface. So I was doing some experimentation with just taking my Dremel and kind of grinding patterns into the tops of them, and it looks really cool. But and you can do like I did like random ones on a couple of these, but it's too hard to do. I'm not like talented enough to do that. But anyway, so let those dry. But I did do another set of prints last night that are really cool. Like I said, these are for a friend. And let me get these set out here. These are so sweet. These are the files that Chaos Cortec did. And let's get autofocus on here. And I'm pretty sure all of you guys will be able to recognize this crew. I guess Butters shouldn't be in the middle. But yeah, check those out. Those are so cool. They're such cool prints. This is obviously the South Park guys that Chaos Cortec did, and they just look fantastic. Like they are exact. They're absolutely exact. And I made a set of these for my wife, and then this set's for my friend. And I wanted to paint them up, and I'm going to paint my wife's up, but I can't really justify. They're a bit of a pain to get looking pretty sweet. But if you do print these, the first batch I did, they turned out fine, but I just wanted them a little different. So you can see these ones are kind of small. And I printed these at 50% overall size, and then went back and increased the thickness. They're at, I think, 80% thickness from the original, but 50% on the other two dimensions. So, excuse me. Makes them nice and small, but they still have like a nice thickness to them. And then these are refrigerator magnets. So I just went to Walmart and got some of these magnetic buttons that have adhesive already on the backs of them. And again, I think this was like $2 or $3 for this pack of magnets. And just kind of center them in the back. And they make sweet refrigerator magnets. And I would say between the magnets and filament, you probably have like maybe maybe $5 in a set like this. And then I have another, there's 18 magnets and I used 5 of them. So I have 13 more magnets left. But, yeah, super cool little project. And who doesn't like refrigerator magnets? We end up having, we have some of the most random stuff. Like, if you ever get those, like, sheet magnets from various places, like, we have a couple from the phone company and stuff up there holding papers up. And we finally got to replace those, which is kind of cool. But, hey, what's up, Aaron? No, I had wanted to, like I said before, I had wanted to tend to the firmware today, but I didn't have any time to prep yesterday, and then, as you can see today, we're about 5 hours behind schedule. These take a little bit of time to dry, but you can see they rust up really nicely. You can see there on the bottom where it's a little more orange. The camera does not want to focus. But yeah, they rust up really nice. Like I said, I get to finally use these tonight in the game, and I'm excited to, because they look really good. Like here you can see there's all the rusted ones, and I know the color's kind of weird, and it doesn't want to focus. God, I hate autofocus. You're out of here, autofocus. But yeah, they look sweet. I'm excited to print some more stuff with these. And then here you can see, I know the camera's kind of weird with colors, but there you can see one that is just like the filament as printed. And then you can see these look like pieces of metal. It looks like they were stamped out of like sheet iron or something. Especially the big one. That's why I kind of wanted to have, if you have a little bit of surface detail on these, the rusting looks like cooler. I mean, the smooth ones look all right. It's part of the reason that I wanted to put them between paper towels, because the paper towel actually kind of like touch the surface in random areas, and it gives it like a little bit of texture to the rust and stuff. Just gives it like a little bit more character. But no, overall, these are really cool. I will not at all be surprised if tonight when I come home, I'll be printing several sets of these out for some of the other players at my shop. And I'm kind of tempted to print myself a full set of these out, because this size is, I mean, these are already kind of like hefty, and this size is even more so, because I think it's like 130% overall size compared to the other ones. And they're nice and thick too. And I wish I had more filament, because I'd print these out at 100% infill. But what filament is? Yeah, it's the Protopasta Rustable Iron. We printed with it the other day on stream. And like I said, I had experimented with a couple different, the solution that they recommend you mix up. I didn't actually end up using that. I printed out, I think, like 6 or 7 more of these and tried some different, like, grits of sandpaper and some different combinations of the solution and stuff that they recommend. But, like I said, just taking warm water and saturating it until it won't absorb any more salt seemed to work the best. So these, I think, these had 2 rounds of that, and this is drying more, and you start to really see like the variations in the rust and stuff. It's like kind of almost like fuzzy in some spots, and gets like very orange in some spots, and looks really great. Really cool stuff. Kind of expensive. The filament's a little expensive. I think when we looked at it, it was I don't know. I kind of don't want to say a price. I can't recall. I think this was $6 and something, plus about $4 shipping for the 200-gram sample, if I remember correctly. I think it was like 100. Why don't we just look? Why don't I quit like throwing numbers out there? And why don't we just have a look? Because I'd kind of like to order some more. But like I said, it is a little bit pricey. Okay, here we go. This is in their, hey-yo. Oh, this freaking thing. I don't know why, I don't know why that does that. Okay, so I won't show you. For some reason, with OBS Studio, whenever I start it the first time, it won't like actually capture my monitor. I have to like close it down and start it again before it will actually capture my monitor for some reason. Let's try it one more time. Yeah, it won't even there, it captures my webcam properties. Does not want to capture that monitor for some reason, so sorry about that. But anyway, I can look at it here and tell you. Rustable iron. It is $4.50 US for the 50-gram roll, not 200. It's 50-gram roll. And for a 2-kilogram roll, it's $140. So approximately approximately $70 a kilogram, which I said is not cheap. That is not cheap for filament, but it is very unique. And the bad thing on top of that is, since it's such a dense filament, the actual like linear length that you're getting is less than standard PLA because the material is dense. So they don't really tell you what the linear length you get on the spool is, but it's a lot less than regular PLA for the weight. Posted the pic above. Oh, you have to check that out, Joey. Like I said, I would share the picture you just sent, but I can't actually capture my monitor. For some reason, this damn thing. I don't know what it is. It's ever since I upgraded to Windows 10, I've had a lot of problems with OBS. It's like even quirkier than it was before I did the upgrade. Why don't you do a silicone cast of the tokens? I could do that. I've made some silicone molds before when I was doing the plaster stuff, but you could, and I could get some. I wouldn't even have to get any white metal. I have like tons of like white metal figures. Like this whole bag back here. This is all like these are from an Ancients game. These are all they're kind of crappy minis, but they were really, really inexpensive. I think these guys ran about 10 cents a figure. And this bag, if I had to guess, this bag probably weighs 7 or 8 pounds, and it's all white metal. So, yeah, it would be kind of cool to experiment with getting a print like this big guy here. Getting a file like this, printing it out, cleaning this up, and then making a mold of it and casting some stuff in white metal. But I've never actually done that before. So that would be like an all new territory for me. FIFA. Hey, what's up? What's up, Gold? No spamming in here. I've been pretty nice to most people, but yeah, if you want subs, like, do stuff, man. Do stuff. Because even if, like, say you come in here and spam like that, and some people sub to you, they're at the very least going to be inactive subs. And worse, they're going to, like, spam your videos because it's irritating when people spam for subs. Aren't you afraid that using the iron filament will wear down your nozzle too fast? Not really, Dean. Not really at all. Like I talked about briefly in the other video, I generally use the 0.3 and 0.25 millimeter nozzle for all the stuff I print. So for this, I just threw in the 0.4 that came with the machine, and I have another 0.4 as like a backup if this one does get kind of screwed up. So it's not really an issue. Worst case scenario, I think the bronze ones are like $6 to replace, $6 or $7. So, No, not really. And I would guess, uh, like if any of you guys watch Joel, the 3D printing nerd, he printed. I would assume that was a full 2 kilogram roll. I think he printed like a full 2 kilograms of this, and he said he didn't have any noticeable wear on his nozzle yet. Joey said, thought I read you would need to run about 250 grams of carbon filament for the nozzle to open up. That could be the case. But I think even Joel talked about that. This filament is abrasive, but the particles of the iron are actually fairly small, and the super abrasive filaments are actually like the glow in the dark, and I forget the other one. But this actually, from what I've heard, again, it's just kind of like hearsay, but from what I've heard, the iron isn't actually as abrasive as some of the other abrasive filaments on the market. So I would like to. This prints so nice out of the point 0.4 that I do want to try at least using like the point 0.3 and seeing how it prints. I think I could get away with it because this seems to extrude like really nicely. I don't know if they recommend the point 0.4 because they occasionally had problems with smaller diameter nozzles, or if it was just like anything less than 0.4 jams. So yeah, I would like to do some experimentation, because if I could get some of these tokens with designs on them that are the smaller size, if I could get some of these a little bit nicer, I would run the risk of wearing the smaller nozzle out. Because I would assume the wear will be a little more noticeable on the smaller diameter nozzles. But if I could get a few dozen of these printed out, it would be worth the risk to me. And Busy said yes. It's like print a kilogram of carbon. Yeah, carbon is a very aggressive abrasive filament. And again, this is all hearsay because I've printed with the glow in the dark, but I haven't printed very much. But the glow in the dark filament is apparently very, very abrasive, and beyond that, the size of the abrasive particles in the filament are apparently fairly large. So how expensive? I know I've seen you talk about them before, Aaron, and I've seen other people talk about them, but how expensive are the micro Swiss nozzles? Because here, like I pulled that link up, here is a 0.4. Okay, so a 0.4, 1.75 millimeter nozzle is $15 from Micro Swiss. And yeah, I don't know. I'd like to see some actual like data on that. Like I don't know if you guys know of anyone that's done any like life testing on that, like the lifespan of those. I'd be kind of interested to see like how much more resistant to wear they are. Because I know it's hard to beat the prices of the unhardened brass nozzles. Ann Busy asked, have you tested printing the token in an upstanding orientation? No, I haven't done that, actually. It'd be kind of interesting to see how that played out. Yeah, I don't know. The only thing that I wouldn't like about that is with these, being that they're a circular shape, I use the concentric outer infill, so you get like a nice spiral pattern on the top and bottom, which you'd be kind of giving up if you did that, and you would, because then you'd have like the layer lines on it, So I'd probably end up sanding it anyway to get rid of the layer lines. So yeah, I don't know. It'd be something worth experimenting with, I guess. Maybe not on these prints, but if you're gonna do some rustable iron prints with some things, it would be worth doing some testing with. Yeah, I don't know. And like Rob said that he's running a hardened nozzle with some color fab bronze fill. I honestly don't know. I haven't actually seen any videos of somebody that was running into problems with abrasive filaments. Like I don't actually know what I'd be looking for. I guess your extrusion would just kind of like start not being or stop being precise. I guess on like the edges of prints and stuff, you'd start to see like some inconsistencies. But no, it'd be interesting. There's definitely this is one of the filaments. Like you can do a lot of experimentation with any filaments, but ones like these, I think, there's so many different ways you can approach doing prints with them. It would be worth, I guess, trying some different orientations. I honestly don't think I could really improve these because you end up with the layer lines on the sides, and I actually like how they end up looking. It just, I don't know. They have a cool look when they're stacked up. So yeah, I probably won't test that with these, but uh, Aaron said he's been doing some testing with the PT100 temp sensor on the heat bed. Yeah, I'm curious what actual advantages there are to that. I think I asked you that before. Anybody that doesn't know, I think I forget the difference. One of them is a thermocouple. I think the PT100 is a thermocouple, and the one that comes on the machine is not. And I know the again, I think Aaron, I'm sure Aaron will correct me here in a second, but I think the thermocouples are a little more accurate at detecting temperature. So like you'd get a little more accuracy. But again, that's something that would be interesting to see testing on, to see if you could actually. Because I always wonder about things like that. Like there are all kinds of things in life where you can get where something's like objectively more accurate. Like that's not really what's being debated. The debate ends up being around whether or not that increased accuracy gives you any tangible improvement in results. So like if I would print two things, print the same files with the same circumstances, with everything being the same except that one's printed with the PT100 and one's with like the base sensor, if you'd ever be able to notice a difference. Like I always wonder about things like that. Cuz I don't think the PT100's expensive. But anything that costs money, like it adds up. It does things add up over time. Even stuff like this, like I was saying about how cheap these brushes are. There's a million cool little tools and stuff that you can buy that are cheap, and yeah, I know as well as anybody, it adds up. It's like when you're doing miniature gaming, this little guy's only $4 and this little guy's $3 and blah blah blah. But before you know it, you have a table full of stuff and you've spent hundreds of dollars. You need to try to embed a steel washer into the print. You could do that. I've seen people do things like that. I've seen a lot of instances where people wanted a nut embedded in a print to have a screw go into it, and you just need to have that cavity in your print, and then when it gets past that layer, you kind of pause the print, or if you're really fast, you slide the nut in that cavity, and then it'll continue to print like over top of it. So you could do that. That would be interesting to do. I was gonna say you could damn near fit a quarter in this one, but it's a little too big. But yeah, that would be cool to do. You could definitely add some heft to some of these. You could do that to basically anything would be kind of cool. Rob asked, haven't watched your iron filament video. How'd you like it? I was planning on putting some beer tap handles in it. All right. And use magnets to attach for labels for the type of beer. Well, I think somebody mentioned that in the other video. Because the material isn't magnetic itself. The material is ferrous. And somebody suggested, like, why don't I just magnetize this material? And I don't think... It's like if you've ever seen, like, these are rare earth magnets here. And then, where did they go? I don't know where they went. The other magnets I had... Where did they go? I just had those. Well, anyway, the other magnets I had are the ones that are kind of like compressed. They're not like they're not really the same material as this, and they're a lot weaker. And I really have my doubts about like how much you could actually magnetize this material. Like, I don't think the density of that ferrous metal in there is really high enough that you could, because a lot of things, well, I guess we could do some testing here. A lot of things, if you just kind of rub strong magnets over them, we could try it here. I'll do one of these for a second or two here and then do another one and see if we can get any kind of residual magnetism in here. Because like my dad used to do this with his screwdrivers and stuff. He had a real like strong fixed magnet that he would rub them over. Aaron said, I've heard there's a way to magnetize a strawberry. Science. Yeah, I mean, there's essentially nothing here. I don't think the density of the iron particles in there are high enough to really get that effect out of these. Scary vid title. No, it's just I came home in a rush and wanted to stream for a little bit, and I couldn't think of anything, and that's what I was feeling at the time. Is basically life was yet again bending me over the table and having its way with me. But no, as far as like whether I liked this filament, yeah, definitely. This stuff is sweet to print with. Honestly, if you would kind of sneak in and put that in my machine, and I would be expecting there to just be like some gray PLA in there, I would not notice a difference. This prints exactly like standard PLA for the most part. So yeah, as far as printing with it, it's freaking effortless, honestly. Yeah, I really liked it. But yeah, you can see the rare earth magnets stick to it. But even these are really strong little magnets. I mean, the way they stick to each other, they are like very strong. Anybody's have rare earth magnets, even tiny ones like this, are really strong. And they have kind of a lukewarm reaction to this. I mean, these are only 10% infill. So there is a cavity in here. This one's, I think, 30%, and it's a little bit stronger, but yeah, I don't know. Like you were saying about printing beer tap handles, if you could, if you have the skills and a little bit of patience to do it, I would honestly suggest trying to, like if you know where you want to put your label, I would suggest trying to have a cavity in there and getting yourself like an actual, like you can get rare earth magnets in essentially any size. I would recommend having a cavity in your piece where you could kind of like epoxy a rare earth magnet in there and use that to actually hold your labels and stuff. I would just have concerns about, even if you'd print this solid, yeah, I just don't know how strong they would hold on. But yeah, it would be, you could do it two ways. You could do the process we were kind of talking about a few minutes ago, where you have a cavity in there and you kind of sneak a magnet in while the print's going and then have it printed in the piece, which would be nice because then it can't come out. It's a little more advanced for sure. But yeah, if you just, I don't know, if you could even use Tinkercad if you're so inclined, and just pull your STL in there and make a little box or a little circle and kind of pull that space out. But no, it's cool stuff. You can see like when these are within reach, I just kind of want to like play with them. It's one of the cool things about this filament. Like even if I didn't have like an application where I needed to like rust them, just the weight of this filament is really cool for like tactile items. Like if you're going to make, I kind of can't believe I haven't made any yet, but the little like hand spinners that people make with the bearings and stuff. Even if you'd like have stuff like that, this would be a really cool material because of the weight that it has. And it's kind of expensive, Just like the, I think this stuff, I'm going to try to print with this weekend. This is the, again, Protopasta composite. This is the polishable stainless steel. And this surprisingly is not at all magnetic. I'm kind of surprised by that. I wonder if the filament is itself. It almost has to be. Yeah, I'm kind of surprised. This must not have actual stainless steel in it because this is, you can see it's completely non-magnetic. And this is the stainless steel stuff from Protopasta. But I kind of expect that this prints the same way. This is the same temperature, 190. I don't know if you can see that. 190 to 230. No heat required on the heat bed, but it's good up to 70 C. But I hope to print with that this weekend. And I kind of want to make... I want to make my wife a keychain and print two sides with my daughter's name on it. And then epoxy them together. Drill a hole to mount on her keychain. And then polish the whole thing up. Is kind of, I don't know, you know how things go. That's the plan. I don't know if it'll all work out that way, but that's what I'd like to do with it. Because I think it's kind of like the iron. The more kind of like surface detail you have, I think the cooler the overall effect will be. Magnets don't stick to stainless steel? I think it does. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it does. Like my dad's business has stainless steel sinks and stuff in it, and I think the steel in the stainless steel is magnetic. If you put a magnet inside the print, wouldn't you risk it attaching itself to the hot end? No, the hot end is, well, some people have hardened ones, but the bronze is non-magnetic. I'm pretty sure. We can test that out right now. Yeah, they, I wasn't sure if these were like an alloy of some kind, but yeah, I turned the camera off. These are not bronze, brass. These brass nozzles are completely non-magnetic, so that shouldn't be an issue. But I know you guys, or some of you guys are printing with like the hardened steel nozzles and stuff. Some of those fancy joints. But is stainless non-magnetic? Huh. Learn something every day. I would have bet my life that it was. Or unless it's like Earl's saying, okay, there's two kinds of stainless steel. I guess that's just like happenstance that all the stainless steel I've ever seen in my life was magnetic. I guess I just never had dealt with any of the non-magnetic stainless steel. What nozzle am I printing with now? I just have the these are brass. Yeah, I have the brass 0.4 millimeter in there now because that's what they recommend for the Protopasta composites. Like I said, though, I'd like to try the 0.3 and see if I can get away with that, but yeah, at this point, I'm printing with the 0.4. I'm actually going to, while we're sitting here, I'm actually going to print another one of these bigger ones out. I have stuff everywhere. I guess we can move this guy over here. Looks like we need to go under. All right, let's get this. This is gonna be a little one, so I have to get the zoom tweaked here, or the focus. I mean. All right, that should be good. But yeah, we'll print another one of these. It's about the size of a quarter. And this is the one that has the little bit of relief in the top layers. Try a stainless screw on a magnetic tip. Yeah, like I said, it must just be the case that that all the stainless I ever interacted with in my life, because it's actually come up a lot. Not like a whole lot, but I've had a lot of stainless in my life. I know that's a weird thing to say, but interesting. I'll have to Google that later and see what kind of applications of stainless, because most of the appliances and restaurant equipment and stuff that I've ever seen was magnetic. Maybe Nilla found stainless coated iron. Maybe. Due to this difference, ferritic stainless steels are generally magnetic, while austenitic stainless steels usually are not. Interesting. I would imagine, like the fasteners and stuff. I don't know. Interesting. You learn something every day. Yeah, I don't know. Like some of the things, like I don't know. I don't know if like our stainless steel appliances, like all the appliances in our kitchen are stainless steel, and obviously we have refrigerator magnets and stuff. So I don't know if that's like a. I don't know. I was gonna say that could just be like a coating, but I can't imagine why that would be like a steel shell with a stainless coating. Seen the ruby nozzles? Is that really a thing? Are there really ruby nozzles? That sounds like that's something out of my price range. Super hard nozzles. Interesting. I wish I could show that picture. Yeah, that is apparently really a thing. I wouldn't have guessed that. Yeah, it's not gonna... I don't think it's gonna... That freaking crap. I don't know why it hates me so much. Anyway. Oh, we gotta go out. All right. Print is underway. No, but this looks so cool. It's like a brass nozzle, but the tip actually is kind of recessed, and there's like the tip of it is actually like ruby. That's kind of crazy. Again, learn something every day. I can't imagine. How much are they? Is that and busy? Is that what you're saying? They're 99 pounds? $15? What? Oh, okay. That's $15 for Protopasta's wear resistant nozzle. Okay, yeah, that's what the Swiss one we looked at earlier. I prefer tungsten versus ruby. Well, you guys are freaking spoiled, is all I can say. I prefer cheap. I prefer the $7 one that I can replace if something goes bad. But it is cool printing these too, because they're really fast prints. I don't know if you guys can hear that. I'm about due for a replacement part cooling fan. Dion, getting me off topic. Nilla, since you also enjoy wargaming, do you also play pen and paper RPGs like D&D, Pathfinder, and similar? Well, Dion, I certainly do. This is like I have the printed dungeon stuff. I get this out anytime I have an opportunity to. This is the modular dungeon stuff, and like this is the crypt stuff. And I know you can't really see because the camera's over there, but these are all like skulls and stuff in the walls and the gates and stuff. Open, the doors open, all that crap. This is all like I kind of got back into this. Like I don't know if you saw all the train at the beginning of the stream. All of this stuff. This is all the cast plaster pieces I made like years ago. This is all for tabletop role playing. And I have played D&D. Like I played a absolute mountain of advanced, and I guess they consider that like 2.5 in high school. We played a lot of that. And I wanted to start a group again because it's been a long time. And I've been doing some like actual wargaming, and I'm really competitive, and I get irritated like really easily when I play. Because like we used to play, like I played Warhammer and stuff, and we used to play, like professionally isn't the right word, but we played very seriously. Like I was part of the tournament scene and stuff, and I went to the grand tournaments and all that, and usually placed fairly well. So whenever I like get really frustrated sometimes when I don't do well, and it doesn't mesh well with me being schizophrenic, because when I played before, like I didn't have some of the symptoms that I do now. So it's kind of a bad combination of character traits. So it's really made me want to get into like cooperative games. Like I play a lot of like Euro games and adult board games, if you want to call them that. And I always like playing cooperative games because it's like you get to work with 3 to 5 other people and work towards a goal. And if you win, you all win. And if you lose, you all lose. So I wanted to play some tabletop RPGs, but I didn't really want to play D&D. There's a lot of things I don't like about D&D. To give you a quick for instance, I've always hated armor class in Dungeons and Dragons. It's never made fun of me. Or it's never made fun of me. It hasn't ever made fun of me, but it's never made sense to me. Like any of you guys that know D&D, having armor increases your armor class. So that's what determines how hard you are to actually hit. So if you have a dude who's naked and a dude who's in full plate, the dude in full plate is significantly harder to get a hit on than the guy that's naked, right? That already kind of doesn't make a whole lot of sense. What then doesn't make even more sense is that, like, say I hit you with a weapon that does 5 damage. If I hit the guy that's naked with it, it does 5 damage to him, and if I hit the guy in plate, it does 5 damage to him. I've always hated that. It does not make any sense to me. And there's a lot of things in Dungeons and Dragons that are like that, and it's like, it's one of those things where it hit this tipping point of popularity, where it is like the kind of the status quo for tabletop RPGs, and some of these things are never really going to change because it's the way D&D's always been. So stuff like that kind of rubs me the wrong way. And if I'm going to be running a game, I hate having things like that. There are dex modifiers and stuff. You're correct. But the basics of the system, the fundamentals of how, like, armor and the hit rolls and stuff work are kind of dumb, in my opinion, personally. I know it works out, kind of. It's still, like, D&D gets really stupid when you get guys with high armor class. They've tried to, like, compensate for it in some of the newer editions with, like, having like your touch AC and stuff being, like, more relevant to some things. But it still ultimately doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So I wanted to basically build a system for the campaign that I'm going to be running. And there's this game, which is called Basic Role Playing, and it's actually just about as old as D&D. This is essentially built from a system called RuneQuest that I think was like the early 80s. Late 70s, early 80s. And the reason I have this big old stack here is that this book is out of print, but the PDF is still available from the company. So I just picked these up. It was either yesterday or the day before yesterday. I actually took these to the printer and got them printed. And for less than the copy, or for less than what one of the original books is going for, I got 3 of these printed that are spiral bound with, like, real heavy covers, and the pages are, like, way heavier than the what the base books are printed with. And I'm actually building a system. Like, this is one of those systems, kind of like Hero System, if you've ever seen that. The book's so big because it's modular, and you can use or not use different modules, like, depending on what, like, setting. Like, you can do everything from, like, futuristic games to, like, high fantasy games to, like, 4-color superhero games with this system. So I actually have an extra one of those. If anybody wants to buy one, I'd sell it to you for what the printer charged me for it. But yeah, I was pondering doing a video about the system because I started using that game as a base, but it's to the point now where it's almost like a completely new system. I'm gonna do a little bit of playtesting tonight, hopefully. But it's freaking sweet. I gotta tell you, the combat's pretty fantastic in it thus far. There are diamond caves really deep inside the ground. I saw that in the core. What time is it? I have to go here in a little bit, guys. But yeah, what's up, Meester? Why are you stressing over the printer? And why is your aorta at risk of bursting? Yeah, if you get someone, blood is pretty sticky. I've bled a fair amount of my own blood over the years. It's pretty sticky stuff. It probably would make your print stick better. You could probably put some in a spray bottle. Yeah, I agree. It's the channel is eventually going to branch out a little bit. My schedule has just been like terrible for the last little while for some reason. It's just like things never cease coming up that I need to kind of divert time to. It's getting like the future looks good. The channel's been really successful so far. I've got like we started Patreon and stuff a few weeks ago, and like way more people participated in that than I was expecting. So no, as time progresses here, I should be able to devote more and more time to the channel as we move along here. But there's so many things. There's so many freaking things I want to make videos on. And like today, I really wanted to try to shoot a video or two to have ready to release this week, and it just didn't happen. Because the way things are now, like when opportunities arise for me to make a little bit of money, I kind of need to jump on it, unfortunately. Love the channel. Keep doing what you're doing. Thanks, Josh. I appreciate it. But no, there's so many videos backed up that I want to do for the printer. There's at least 3 videos that I already have like shot. I have the footage for and the audio recorded. I just need to like find the time to edit them. And like I said, it's been ever since about Christmas, about the day before Christmas. My days have just been like kind of comically chaotic. So yeah, hopefully that comes to an end soon. I think some of the things that were going on in my life are winding down finally. But like the today I lost a big chunk of the day because my dad runs a go-kart track and arcade and stuff, and he goes to Florida for like 3 months at the end of the year, and he's got all kinds of stuff going on there that I kind of am responsible for while he's not here, and that's kind of been a huge time sink. But hopefully in the next week or two that I won't have to worry about that anymore. But yeah, like I haven't gotten to touch anything down here. If you guys have noticed, the basement has looked the same for the last few weeks, and I still have like I still need to build some more shelves up there. I want to finish like this area over here. I need to like mount the camera different. I need to mount my lights different. All kinds of things. My Nintendo box is knocked over. I need to fix all kinds of stuff in here. Do you have to pay income tax over Patreon money? I would assume so. I don't actually know, but my gut's telling me yes. The government is probably going to want their cut. They want their cut of everything. You see diversionary Legos. Do you see Legos? Is there Legos in the shot? Oh, there are some Legos in the shot. Yeah, this was that's funny they were sitting in the shot. Good eye. These were these are actually glued together. When I was doing those floor tiles, I have like 3 of these that I was using as corner molds to keep things square when I was gluing them together. But yeah, good eye. Legos in the shot. And there's pipe cleaners and balsa and PVC tubing and all kinds of crap laying here. Because I didn't get a chance to clean up. There's a dagger I got at the dollar store. Don't know why, but I got it. It was 59 cents. Seemed like a good deal. Yeah, they're really great for molds. When I was, somebody mentioned silicone molds earlier, and every time I built little, like, mold stations to make the molds, I built the subframes for them out of Legos, just because they're fairly easy to get square, and you can put a little bit of super glue in between the pieces, and they hold. Like, this thing is rock hard. And I kind of feel dirty destroying Legos, but use them for molds and testing foot skin. I feel you there. If you've ever stepped on a Lego, you know what he's talking about. All right, there we go. You see, these are move the camera around here. Uh, they come out nice, but there's a little bit of roughness on the surface. On this file, I have the extrusion multiplier set a little bit higher, just to help. Jesus. I have the extrusion multiplier set a little higher to help fill some of the gaps on the top layer. But when you sand these down, they end up looking nice. Did you try to print Legos? No, I haven't. No, I haven't. I would imagine with the 0.25 millimeter nozzle, you could print some pretty nice Legos out, though. I'm one of those guys, like, I have, I don't know where it's at. I have, like, the big tubs that are, like, 2 feet by 18 inches or so. I have, like, 3 of those full of Legos, so I don't need to print any. But, yeah, it'd be cool to, I guess, if you'd ever need to. Earl said he's 50 and I haven't gone through puberty quite yet. Well, I've gone through puberty. I just haven't matured. Meester said, I guess you've printed some of the Legos, but they wear quickly. I could see that. I could see that. Yeah, PLA is such a weird material. It has like odd qualities for a plastic. It's really good for some things and then like really terrible for other things. Like I was browsing YouTube, I guess it was last night, and I saw a guy that printed an iPhone case for his phone out of PLA, and then he was trying to get it on, and he actually scratched the shit out of his phone and then broke it. The case, not the phone. But he scratched his phone and then broke the case, and he was not happy. And it's like, I could have told you that was going to happen. You can't print a cell phone case out of PLA. But no, there's a lot of... I was thinking of doing a video about that soonish, about like the peer pressure to print certain things. I'm sure you guys have like run into that. Like there's certain prints that you just feel like there's just this pressure, like you feel obligated to print some of them when you have a 3D printer. I can't think of what it's called. A benchy. Like I feel like I have like a moral obligation to print a benchy, and I still haven't printed one. And I was talking to someone in one of the 3D printing groups the other night about it, and they thought that was essentially heresy. That I've had Benchy's one, the Batman logo is one. I've printed my fair share of Batman logos, though. Yeah, Batman logo. I think I've printed like 9 or 10 of those. So I've got that covered. Maybe I've printed enough Batman logos to make up for not printing a Benchy. Is that possible? Maybe I've reached that point. And I did print all those other things. I haven't printed an Eiffel Tower. That's another one. I did print a Marvin. I had to print that for my 3D Hubs account. So I literally, of all the things I did need to print, that was the one that I actually did need to print. I think he's up here. Yeah, the Marvin, I know the camera's over there, but the Marvin... I guess I can show you. The Marvin printed extremely clean because he's at like, you can see just like how shiny he is for PLA. I can't center. He printed really, really good. But like I said, when you sign up for 3D Hubs, like the final step of the process is printing your Marvin and taking pictures of it and sending it to them. Are you getting any work from your 3D Hubs? No, I purposely set my prices high. When I set that up, I kind of wanted to get some work, and then I forget when that was. That was towards the end of the year last year, so Yeah, at that point, I was just printing so much stuff for myself that I knew I didn't have time to do any work if I would get it. And yeah, ever since then, I just haven't had time. So now, at some point, like when things kind of like plateau and get kind of back to normal with like my schedule and stuff. So like 2 weeks ago. No, it was a little longer than that ago. I guess it was probably I don't know, because it also worries me that I haven't set up like email alerts. So it's one of the. Hopefully, it didn't delete my account. No, okay, I don't have any orders. Luckily, good. Made me nervous, but no, my prices are kind of high. But I can't share my damn screen. I do have a nice profile. I don't know if anybody's ever gone to my 3D hubs. Uh, like I'm not like a photographer, but I take pretty nice photos considering that I'm kind of like an idiot. That I'm just an idiot with a camera. But no, I've actually never done any like actual jobs with it. But the prices, like if you have ever been on 3D hubs and you set up your account, like the default pricing is kind of insane. Like I forget exactly what it is, but like a little print like this Marvin is like $12 or something insane. But see, you have to adjust your pricing because it goes by like cubic centimeter, I think, for the filament, for like the volume of the job and stuff, and their default pricing is kind of crazy high. Oh, Joey got your first hub order last week. How was the experience with that? Like, what kind of? Do you mind sharing like what kind of order it was or anything? Oh, and another thing I had going on, which some people will appreciate, is yeah, I don't have it. I don't have it set up here. Uh, I'm finally. Don't worry, the stream is still fine. I was just flipping through some views there. But I've got some overlays and stuff made for the stream, and I'm gonna have like chat be integrated into the stream. So for anybody viewing like after the stream is live, it's not gonna be this weird like disconnect with me like talking to people that you can't see. But oh, that's cool. It was a Joey's first print was a case for a Raspberry Pi. That's cool. Oh, Norgan, you're new to the printing world. That's cool. Welcome, man. It's addictive. It is very addictive. Like, all I want to do, personally, all I want to do is print more dungeon tiles. That's what I've been doing. Uh, that's all I've been doing every evening and most of the days through the day. At Jatman switched to some new software. Yeah, it's really simple. I used to stream games and like I used to stream Morrowind. I gotta say, man, my Morrowind stream was tight. It looked really, really good. Because I had overlays and information panels and all that stuff. Because I know it doesn't show because I've never done any of that stuff, but I actually have a lot of experience with OBS. I know it's been kind of like the Wild West with this channel and stuff, with me just kind of like winging everything, but no, I'm fairly experienced with using OBS. Dean made a post on Patreon. Can read it later. Oh, thanks, man. Y'all check that out. Like I said, I gotta leave here in approximately 5 minutes to go pick my daughter up. But yeah, I'll check that out, man. Oh, Earl. Yeah, Earl, I didn't realize it was you. I did see the message you sent me the other day. But like I said, I haven't had any time at the computer to respond. Uh, no, if you want to send me some files, I nobody else really knows what Earl sent me, but uh, Earl, if I'm remembering correctly, is the guy that we checked out his site the other day on stream, and he sent me some like dungeon, like I think it was like some tables with some stuff on it. It was like dungeon terrain, and the pictures of the stuff you sent me was really cool. So yeah, if you want to hook me up with the files, I'll definitely print them out and give them a go and share them on stream and stuff. Because that is whether you some of you like it or not, that is going to be part of the future moving forward here. Is I'm going to be devoting some time to like the dungeon stuff. There are we've discussed that briefly before. Since printers are hitting like the mainstream consumer market, there's a lot of companies that are like springing up, providing just the STLs. Like they don't offer like a print service or anything. Like they just provide STLs to people that have printers. And I would really like to get in a routine of like reviewing some of those on a regular basis. Cause I have some, I guess you can't really see them, but I have some of the stuff I've printed out over the last few weeks behind me. That's not the dungeon tiles. They're like terrain and furniture and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's really cool that that's like an emerging, like a whole new emerging market, and it's a lot of it's like a lot higher quality than the stuff you find on Thingiverse. I mean, there's some really nice files on Thingiverse, but the vast majority of it's like people like us, essentially, that are just kind of like dabbling and not really. It's just like when you play like if you're playing a computer game that's like a pet project of somebody who's doing it for fun versus like something that like a AAA studio made, like the level of polish and stuff is just a bit different. And it's cool that there's a lot of companies that are they're coming out of the woodwork to like cater to our community. Earl says he holds me responsible for buying into Rampage and Dragonlock. Yeah, I'm really digging the Rampage stuff. They still have some of the file sets to release yet. Hey, what's up, Rob? They still have some of the file sets and stuff to release from the Indiegogo campaign, but all the stuff I've gotten so far has been pretty sweet. I have a couple, like I need to start doing review videos. I have a couple like nitpicks about some of the files. Some of the pieces they chose to make and the way they chose to make them is kind of odd. But no, overall I like it. I'd like to, like you mentioned the Dragonlock too. Like I have the Rampage stuff, and the Dragonlock seems sweet. Like both systems definitely cover, like if you'd have what is that, a Venn diagram or whatever. Like there's a whole lot of overlap with the tiles and stuff that they have, but there's also like big sections of each company's line that there aren't really analogs to in either company. So I would like to get some of both. I wish Dragonlock would do like a big like get everything at once kind of deal. Josh says, you know you're effed up when your old printer prints better than your new one. What is your old printer and what is your new one? I'm curious now. Oh, and Earl said they just released more parts for the Rampage set the other day. I have to check that out. I haven't checked my email in like 4 days. That's why I set my 3D Hubs prices high, because I'm always afraid. I think I have like a 1 or 2 day work turnover, so I'm always like afraid that I haven't checked. Like every time I check my email, I'm like, oh God, please don't tell me I got like a 3D Hubs order like 3 days ago. But we'll see if Josh will share what his printers are here, and then I gotta run, guys. I know there was I don't know if any of you guys are members of like some of the 3D printing groups on Facebook, but it just kills me like how different some of the groups are. Like there's the MK2 Prusa group that I'm a part of. Oh, the old printer is a Prusa clone and your new one is a Creator 2. I don't have experience with either of those, unfortunately. But I'm guessing you're saying the Creator 2 is a little disappointing. But no, like I was saying, it's funny to me like how different the different 3D printing groups are. Like the one that's just called 3D printing, it's like it's kind of cool that that group has grown so much. Like I think they have like roughly 10 times the members they did 6 months ago, which is kind of cool, but it kind of sucks at the same time. Uh, yeah, it kind of sucks because it's slowly becoming like a drama mill, which is kind of entertaining in like a Schadenfreude sort of way. But yeah, it's kind of sad too. Because I try not to contribute. There was a guy that posted like if you guys are MK2 owners, you have a PEI sheet, and there was a guy that posted like the regular like old super thin, super sharp razors that are sharp on both sides. Uh, he had posted a thing about using that to get under the edges of your print, and he's basically suggesting that you handle one of those blades bare. And like I said, I don't try to contribute to the negativity, but I actually did kind of comment on that and recommend not recommending that to people. It's something I've, even with like the small audience that I have here on this channel, it's something that I learned relatively quickly. I'm still kind of guilty of it as far as like doing things that I don't personally recommend that you do. But especially with like anything related to safety, you always have to be mindful that not everyone you're recommending something to is going to be as competent as you are or as willing to hurt themselves. It's funny I say that and I have a razor blade laying right here. But I'm not suggesting that any of you have razor blades laying around. But yeah, especially like there's a difference between like a utility blade like this and then those like double-sided, super thin, super sharp razor blades that are actually made for shaving. Those are like my mom is a beautician, and I've messed with those blades before, and they're easy to really cut the shit out of yourself with. Especially like if you're trying to like get them under the edge of a print that's adhering too well. That's a recipe for a laceration right there. Yeah, like telling people that WD-40 is a lubricant. If you guys didn't know, WD-40 is not a lubricant. Yeah, one slip with those thin blades, and it's likely going to bone depending on how hard you're pushing. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different ways to release prints. The thing I've been doing, because I sanded the PEI sheet and stuff. The thing I've been doing is just using like a regular old paint scraper like this, and like this print. I know it didn't really seem like it, but this was adhered really well since I've sanded my PEI and acetoned it and stuff. But all I really do is kind of like gently push until I get the smallest little bit underneath the edge, and then pry. Like you're not using a bunch of forward force. You're not really using a ton of force at all. You just get under the edge a tiny little bit, and then kind of, firmly and in a controlled way, just like pry the edge up. And you don't have to like pop it off all at once. You just like apply pressure, and it'll eventually release. And it'll just kind of go pop right off. So I don't really see the point in introducing any risk into that process. Yeah, WD-40. Well, yeah, it's true. WD-40 is a brand, but most people know what you mean when you say WD-40. WD-40 stands for water displacement 40, not lubricate metal 40. And it's great for displacing water, go figure. Not so great for lubricating things. But yeah, I do gotta run. Yeah, good eye, Earl. I do gotta run. Well, I always like, I have more buffer time than I lead on sometimes because I do linger. But yeah, I always need to leave the house by about 4:45 is about the latest I can leave. So I still got a little bit of time. But yeah, luckily, like the relationship with the babysitter is like really casual. She watches several kids, and I'm usually still always the first parent to pick up. But yeah, your wife is your buffer. See, my wife's not home, or she would probably be. My wife's like I'm not It's funny saying that coming 5 hours late to my stream, but I'm actually like fairly punctual with most things when I have obligations. But my wife is one of those people that needs to be there like an hour early, just like sitting and waiting for the time to come. Using a hammer works for you. I wouldn't recommend the hammer because I have seen some people. If you get too aggressive, if you get on the internet, you see some crazy stuff, and then it's like not only crazy stuff that people are doing for themselves, but then they're recommending other people do it. But yeah, I've seen guys using these things and just like hammer, and you're gonna run into some issues with that. Like I've seen people having like alignment issues or bed leveling issues after they start beating on their printer, which is not surprising. But I guess that's Josh saying is the Creator 2 cost 3 times what the Prusa clone did. Man, at this point, I don't know how much a Creator 2 and the clone was, but at this point you could have bought yourself like an MK2 or 2, which I'm an advocate of. I haven't done a review yet. That is one of the videos that I have a lot of the footage ready for, and I just need to like sit and edit. I did see that, Earl. I did see your nearby in PA. I don't know how into tabletop gaming you are, but if you're not too far away, I need some playtesters for this Elder Scrolls system. You like 3D Maker Noob's review of his group of machines? I don't know that I've seen that. I've tried to watch most of the videos in the community, but like Joel was in here the other day and he had a video on the rustable iron stuff, and I hadn't seen it because it was I guess it's about a year old now. Shit, it's crazy to think that a video from January of 2016 is a year old now, but it is because now we're in January 2017. But yeah, not the nerd, the noob. There's a 3D printing nerd and the 3D printing noob. Two different people. Two very different people, actually. Two very different personalities. But, alright guys, well I gotta run. I gotta go pick my daughter up and play some games tonight. Have a little distraction from life. Tonight is War Machine Gaming. Oh, yes, yeah, this is the 3D printing noob. Or 3D Maker noob. Did he change his name? Yeah, he's not the 3D printing noob. He's the 3D Maker noob. I thought he was the 3D printing noob at first. Maybe he wasn't. Maybe I'm misremembering. But, yeah, sorry, guys. We will... I don't know when I'll stream again. Maybe this weekend. If not, it'll be Tuesday like usual. But we'll try to get back to like our regularly scheduled programming and stuff. But yeah, thanks everybody. Like I said, I apologize for not having the stuff we wanted to do today ready, but like I said, maybe in a week or two here, we'll kind of get back to like my regular schedule and things will kind of like normalize finally. But yeah, thanks everybody. Anybody that's not subbed, consider subbing. I do generally 2 streams a week, and I was doing a video a week, but I've kind of got like a backlog and stuff, so normally a video a week. So if you're in any of that, consider subscribing and it'll give you alerts and stuff. And bell me, bro, with YouTube's new system. If you actually want alerts for any of the channels you're subbed to, you actually have to go and hit the little bell thing and opt into notifications instead of opting out of them like you had to before. So, yeah, don't forget to hit that bell. That freaking thing. I can see them changing that back at some point, but for the time being, if you actually want alerts on anything from any of the channels you're subbed to, you gotta hit the stupid bell and opt into the notifications. So, yeah, consider it if you haven't done it already. If you don't want to, That's cool. Just pop in occasionally, and we'll be here doing 3D printing stuff. So, well, and then of course, like Aaron said, he clicked the bell and still didn't get notifications, which seems to be like an ongoing problem with YouTube. So, yeah, hopefully YouTube gets their shit sorted out in the near future. Maybe 2017 will be a better year for YouTube than 2016 was, because they had some issues last year. But anyway, thanks guys. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you next time.